Indie Beacon Radio with hostess Rox Burkey. Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
Hey, welcome this evening to Indie Beacon Radio. My name is Rox Burkey, and I am so delighted this evening to have a conversation with George Vance, also known as George Vance McGee. Hi, George. How you doing?
Hey, okay. Healthy. Well, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Austin, Texas. So ready to talk about books.
I am so glad that you're healthy, and I hope everybody listening and watching is healthy as well. So, keep healthy. So I want to start this out, George, and kind of let people know a little bit about you, because your story and journey as an author, it's really interesting. How did you start into this path of writing?
Well, Rox, originally during the 2008 crash, I was let go by a corporate marketing company called MarketWire in New York City. And while I was, just kind of barely getting by on unemployment checks, I started writing as a hobby. And at the time in 2008, there was this new media outlet called blogging. And so I would just get my laptop and I'd go to the Bryant Park or a coffee shop in the Hell's Kitchen and just do a little bit of writing on a blog called Open Mindful, little bit, and eventually Open Mindful turned into a very popular and highly rated blog on Google that I turned into my first book.
And when did you actually turn that into your first book? What year was that? Do you recall?
I think about 5 years ago. Okay. So about half a decade.
And that's really cool. And what's interesting about you, George, is you're really a relatively young book author. You're kind of that Gen X group. Sorry to put a label on it, but that's
all
what
good.
Marketing has done. So how does that affect what you write about?
Great question, Rox. Hopefully my kind of, intermediate age within humanity allows both young readers and older readers to really see through the prism of my view set and outlook. So in a way, I'm not a baby boomer, and then I'm not the young kids from Parkland, but somewhere in that happy middle. And hopefully I'm able to relate to just a wider readership.
So I know from glancing through your blog, and I have to be honest with you, I haven't read them all, though I am fascinated by the portions that I have glanced into. Who do you typically write to? Who's your audience?
Well, this is Indie Beacon Radio, and I think one of the joys of being an independently published author is really just writing straight from the heart and the mind and the soul. So I don't have some overarching, publishing company or person that says what to write. So in actuality, it's just honesty and what I'm thinking about, and I just let it rip, and then I edit it or not edit it later.
And so your books really apply to almost any age group from 21 on, I would suspect. Is that fair?
Yeah. If it was a mature high school kid, maybe a senior. But yeah, from college age and up, there's a button, on Amazon where it says, do your books have explicit stuff? And I'm not in that realm. So if my books were a movie rating, I would give them a PG-13, if that makes sense.
There you go. No, I understand totally. So that's good, though. It gives you a wider audience to impact to. The other thing is it's really full of what I would say essays, short stories. So it makes it, fast reads. You can read and be compelled by a very small section of your viewpoint. And so it's a pretty broad viewpoint that I've seen you do. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, no, that's completely accurate. Just something that I've noticed in society is with, the rise of social media and Twitter and just mass marketing is just Americans' attention spans have just gotten so much shorter and so much quicker, so that the length of my chapters is usually 4 to 8 pages. Is it one settings you can gel and enjoy it and then move on to the next, or if you don't like it, then you can move on to the next. So it is quick hitting and pretty fast reading. Yep.
And that's part of the charm, I think, because I agree with you. It's not the attention span. I think it's because there are so many things happening that we have finite periods of time that we can read, and it's such an enjoyable pastime, but we don't do it like we used to. So the book behind you, The Nation We Live In, is your most recent publication, and it came out in December of 2019. What's so special about this one?
The Nation We Live In is sociological and kind of a contemporary history type book. Some of the stories are pulled from the news, but it's fun and topical, and I would say kind of a modern living history book. And it also covers a wide range of topics. My editor, Ron Seibold, who I paid for and visited with at Book People, he said, George, it starts off, pretty fun and enjoyable, but he says, you touch some pretty serious adult and real heavy, controversial topics in there as well. So it kind of spans the gamut from, happy-go-lucky to some very serious and, controversial stuff in there.
So when you pick those, let's go for the serious ones first. When you pick those serious topics, and I know that you, from earlier comments, said you're speaking from the heart. So you're as honest as you can be from your point of view.
Sure.
Do you tend to take a balanced approach on these serious topics and bring both sides into it? Or is it like more of an opinion piece? I'm just curious.
Rox, that is a great question. I really appreciate that. It's really just straight from the heart, and it's pretty much my opinion. And some of the topics I feel very passionately about. Sometimes I can kind of switch and see the other side of the coin. But for the majority, if it's a topic that I feel adamantly and strong about, then I let it rip and put it out there.
Well, I also noticed from glancing, I haven't done a heavy read, but I will, I promise. It's not one that I want to miss. But you do have some kind of whimsical headings in here and whimsical things like, the Peter Pan syndrome. What's that going to give people?
Well, the Peter Pan syndrome was something that I diagnosed with myself and then just wrote about it. And it's in essence, just the lack of growing up and maturity from men in general. Myself, just reluctant to settle down and get married, reluctant to get a mortgage, reluctant to, have all of these, just dire adult responsibility that are just impending and feel like just keep being dumped on you like more bills. And it was kind of that desire to kind of stay a kid at heart and, avoid major things and almost maybe be a little gypsy-like and fun and kind of live in, youthful bliss for as long as possible.
And that is a perfect place for us to take a short break, George, to hear from our sponsors. So please stick around. I'm Rox Burkey.
And I'm Charles Brakefield. We're award-winning co-authors, Brakefield and Burkey, of the Enigma book series. There are 10 books in the series, with book number 11 planned for release in January 2020.
Each story has a central technology focus ranging from identity theft to cryptocurrency and now AI wars. These adult techno thrillers pit cyber good guys against cyber thugs across the darknet.
In our world, technology is today's weapon of choice. You can enjoy ebook format, paper, or Audible. We want your feedback.
Until the next story, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, hello there, my friends. My name is Randy James, independent voiceover producer in the Dallas, Texas area, available to write and record a 30-second commercial, much like the one you're hearing right now. It's a great way to help increase awareness and exposure to your book title. It's easy to do. Simply call me and we'll brainstorm on a few ideas, and in a few hours, I'll whip something up and send you a digital file ready to use. Remember, call or text me, Randy James, at 214-762-1942.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have two new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
So, welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. I'm Rox Burkey with George Vance. And George, I want to pick up our conversation. So we talked about the, not wanting to necessarily settle down and kind of, fill your oats, but you also have some other very serious topics in this particular book, The Nation We Live In, with, mental reset methods and heroism of journalists. Those sound pretty serious, actually.
Well, the heroism of journalists, that was kind of a chapter when Jim Acosta of CNN was asking Donald Trump questions, and they tried to bar him from the press outlets. And I just remember that, presidents in my day, previous to him, were always trying to have a good relationship with the press, just like, any media person or business. And, as a writer, and probably all indie author writers, we're very much proponents of the First Amendment and freedom of speech. So that's the First Amendment. And I just think that should be protected, and thoughts, whether they're right or wrong or whatever, and hopefully not harmful, but, should at least be allowed to just be heard.
There you go. Right, whether you agree or not, right? That freedom of speech, you have a right to say what you need to say. So I'm right there with you, George. So are all of these items, have they appeared on your blog before, or are some of them new content just for this book?
They are all within the blog, and they're the blog is unedited and a little bit more raw. Mm-hmm. And then as I'm converting them to books, and The Nation We Live In, I'm so excited to have worked with Ron Siebold, who I found on the Writers League of Texas, and he was my paid for editor, and he did an excellent job of really concising it and getting the meat in the book and having it be very readable. And then also he recommended Asa Blue, and she's a freelance designer in New York City, and I am so just happy with her original artwork and the font in the book that is very legible and large and easy to read. So as far as stylistically and professionally, it's my most professional book, and I think it's beautiful. So I'm glad to get it out there and hope folks will check it out.
No, I agree. The content of it it's really nicely laid out. It is easy to read, which makes that very important. Now, I know that there are times when you have spoken to some groups as well, haven't you, George? I know it's a little odd to do that right now, but isn't that something that you favor?
Yeah, I enjoy it. My dad, George Sears, used to take me to these Toastmaster meetings when I was in elementary school at like 7 o'clock on a Friday morning, and it got me accustomed to public speaking, which some people are afraid of, but I actually enjoy and relish. I recently spoke at the Cherrywood Coffee House here in Austin, did a reading there. I've spoken at Book People on 6th and Lamar twice in their second floor lounge area. I was recently interviewed for the Weird Austin podcast for 15 minutes, episode 15. I'm super happy to talk to Rox. interviewed with Alan before. So just the whole think tank festival or think tank part of it and talking is one thing that I just enjoy about the literary world and books in general.
So who do you like to read? What authors kind of inspire you? Is there any that kind of you want to be an author and want to do this?
Two books recently that I read from front to back cover, every word that I really enjoyed recently were Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential, the recently deceased Anthony Bourdain. That to me was just riveting and so entertaining on the insides of the New York restaurant scene and just the debauchery and humor and words that he used in that one. So I would recommend that. And then the second book I read pretty much cover to cover was one of Chuck Klosterman's books. And I admire him, and I got to actually ask him a question at Book People too. But his kind of whimsical pop culture, current events, happy-go-lucky, humorous, tongue-in-cheek, opinionated type looks is someone I admire too. So Chuck Klosterman and Anthony Bourdain. If you like them, you might like me.
There you go. Exactly right. Because I do see a lot of similarities in the style of writing. And, you never met a stranger, I suspect, like ever. So speaking is good for you. Once we all get released from our current quarantine situation, do you have some speaking engagements you're going to try and pursue?
Oh, I enjoy it. I'll try as many as I can. I've applied for the Texas Book Festival this year. I knock on wood, I don't know if I'll get it or not, but it is enjoyable trying to visit and talk with people. My little brother is a rock star, so he can just play gigs all the time. So when you're an author, you're trying to get gigs of a different way. So instead of having a guitar, I have books and writing. So
there you go. Now you just need to get him to kind of play music in the background, and everybody will come and listen to you as well. You got to team up on this stuff.
Yeah, maybe like a book social party or a panel or yes, that would be awesome. I would love that.
So kind of quickly, what advice do you have for other fledgling authors? I mean, you have 3 books out. You've been busy. What would you recommend that they do if they think, I think I want to do this and perhaps I could? What would you recommend to them?
I would say just start it and don't be overwhelmed by the enormity of it, and just do it piece by piece. They say, someone brings you a big steak, you don't eat the whole steak in one bite, just little chunks here and there, and let it come to you. Maybe one day you'll write 2 or 3 chapters, and then 1 month will go by and you won't write any, and then you'll go on a jog or a run and an idea will come. So don't be afraid to space it out and create on your own time. And each person's process is different, but like Nike says, just do it.
Now you're still keeping up with your blog too, right? I mean, yes, you have this published, but you still write a blog. How often are you putting something on that blog?
My blogs currently is more of the marketing and promotion. I've written 3 books now, and I'm really trying to make more efforts to get more sales and get more buyers and do a little more sales action. And that's my goal currently. So I don't know if I'll write a 4th book, but yeah, currently I'm just trying to get, I think, some great books out there right now.
Well, I can say from the small amount of this book that I have read that I think it's worth investing the time. And it's different. It's not like everyone else. So I think that you have a unique niche for people. And like you say, it's kind of fun. There's humor in here.
Yeah, also the cost. I think they're between like $9 and $13. So, shoot, I remember in the 90s, CDs at Blockbuster, Sound Warehouse were that same price. So, I I got 90s prices for my 2020 books. How about that?
That's perfect. And that's a perfect place for us to pause, hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Please come back.
Hi, I'm Jerry Reedy, author of the book Heat in the Vegas Night. The book is a true inside story of a group of sophisticated blackjack players that take large sums of money from Las Vegas, led by one man, the boss, who trained a group of ex-college athletes from the Pacific Northwest to use a mirror to see the dealer's hole card in blackjack. The true story, stranger than fiction, is about casino espionage, teamwork, guts and determination, and courage. Find the book at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Target.
Thank you for watching or listening to Indie Beacon Radio. Our sponsor, IndieLector.store, is the only bookstore that pays authors their fair share for book sales. Help authors to succeed and enjoy a great book by supporting them at IndieLector.store. Enjoy a 10% discount with coupon code SHOPPER20 at IndieLector.store. Coupon valid until December 31st, 2020. That's IndieLector.store, coupon code SHOPPER20.
What started as a love letter to her son has become an international love letter for all parents to their children. Now you can read acclaimed author Shanalee Charbonneau's story to your children. When her son was very sick, she calmed him by singing her own song to him. She turned that song into the book, My Mama Loves Me, I'm Her Little Boy. She wrote 3 more magical books for all parents and kids 6 and under. Available at Indie Lector, Amazon, and all local and national outlets.
Authors Marketing Guild is a membership-owned organization designed to help authors succeed and learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com and receive so many benefits you'll wonder why you didn't join sooner. That's authorsmarketingguild.com.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Hey, welcome back. I'm still with George Vance, and George, this time just goes so fast. So in this segment, I really want to make sure that people know how to find you, how to get your wonderful book. So let's start out. Where is your book available?
Currently, my 3 books are pretty much all available online on Amazon.com, and they're also all in stores or in store at Book People on 6th Lamar in downtown Austin, Texas, which is the largest independent bookstore in Texas. So Amazon and Book People are the go-tos at the moment.
Okay, and hopefully that can expand. And I know that you have your blog, and that's probably one of the most interactive places you have. So what's your blog address? And, make sure that you say it slowly enough so people can capture it even on the replay.
Okay. Well, I've recently renamed my blogs as close and directly to the titles of the book as possible. So at the beginning of the interview, we mentioned Open Mindful. So Open Mindful Philosophy on the Fly, Google Open Mindful blog. Attractive Tales from Grand Cities, a social memoir, is the blog is Attractive Tales from Grand Cities. And The Nation We Live In, its blog is The Nation We Live In. And you can also find them on their Facebook pages, and my Twitter handle is @GeorgeVance.
So with all of those avenues for people to reach out to you, like the blog, do you respond to people? Because I've been on some blogs where people haven't responded to me, and that's really frustrating sometimes.
Oh, every author loves interaction that has thought at all. As long as it's not just an internet troll and you're a real person and you've got something to mention or share, good, bad, or suggestion. I'm open ears and like reading and seeing it and happy to write back.
Now, the other thing that, because we talked about your speaking, if people are on your Facebook pages or on your blogs and they want you to come and speak, is there an area in there right on the comment area that they could invite you to come and do that? And that's something that you're willing to do?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I was talking with my dad the other day, and one of my pipe dreams would be to go on, some sort of book tour and just almost like a Jack Kerouac, just load up the books in the back of the car and hop from one bookstore to another bookstore throughout the United States and give a speech or sit and chill and talk with visitors at each one. Now that would be enjoyable. I don't know if I can make it happen, but that's a dream of mine.
All right, so everybody listening to this, invite George to come and visit your bookstore, and he will be there, with books in hand. So you are also signed up, you said, to go to the Texas Book Festival. What other festivals are you hoping to get into, providing that those festivals still go on this year?
Well, I had participated in Allen's and the Texas Authors, the Texas Book Festival. It was in Dallas a couple years ago, and then I had signed up for the Lone Star Book Festival this year, which was set to be in Seguin, but COVID has pushed that back a year. But I would like to get more into that, and people and book festivals are pretty fun. So still exploring those options.
They are fun. And you've also spoken at libraries too, right?
I visited with the Austin Public Library, and I have a book on their system, but I've not spoken there. But as far as creatively, I'm open to ideas, and I like speaking, so it's enjoyable.
Well, that's good. And you're also looking for reviewers, right? So anyone that purchases your book that wants to provide a review for you, that's a good thing in your...
Oh yeah. Right now I just have organic reviews on Open Mindful, Attractive Tales from Grand Cities, and I'm looking for some reviews for The Nation We Live In. I'd prefer to not have to pay for them, and I appreciate just organic and raw and whatever they are. So good, great improvements. Reviews are welcomed.
Well, George, I'm sorry, but we are out of time for this evening. I want to thank George Vance McGee for joining me this evening. His newest book, The Nation We Live In, is available on Amazon and some other places. Oh, there we go. And he would absolutely love you to pick up this book and write a review. So George, thank you for staying with me.
Thanks, Rox. I appreciate it, and it's wonderful.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website.
Indie Beacon Radio with hostess Rox Burkey.
Indie Beacon Radio is produced by B. Allen Bourgeois for Authors Marketing Guild, LLC, copyright 2020. Voiceover by Randy James, Lydia Bello, and B. Allen Bourgeois. To be a sponsor of the show or for more information, please email us at info@authorsmarketingguild.com. To be interviewed for the show, please complete the form at radio.authorsmarketingguild.com. Music Always Rejoice by Ramcord of